because there's been like increasing standards of living in America, and isn't that in one way like a justification for it? But why it's still around? Why capitalism, from my understanding, has triumphed and it's still strong?
No, it's not. I don't think so. I mean, there was rising standards of living in slave societies. Slaves were much better off in the early 19th century than in the early 18th century. Is that an argument for slavery?
Well,
It's a terrible argument, you know. I mean, any system, in fact, you could give that argument for Stalinism. There was very substantial economic growth in the Soviet Union. It's the second world, not the third. It was, until 1989, it was the second world, not the third world. Now it's back in the third world because it's undergoing capitalist reforms. Something you're not allowed to say, incidentally, but if you read, you'll notice. They've had 10 years of capitalist reforms which have driven them right back into the third world where they came from. And in fact, if you really want to be serious about it, the slave owners were giving arguments rather like yours. So slavery, very much like it. Read, say, George Fitzhugh, who was the leading spokesman for the American, slave owners in the South. At the time when it was becoming a serious issue, like around the 1840s, he had pretty powerful arguments in favor of slavery. What he was saying is, look, the reason you Northerners are against slavery is because you're anti-Negro racists. We are not racists. We think that you should take care of your subjects. So we treat them nicely. And we even do that on economic grounds because they're our capital. You know, like if I own, make an anachronistic analogy, if I buy a car and you rent a car, okay, and somebody comes a year later and has a look at the two cars, which car is going to be in better shape? Okay, well, mine, because I own it, so I'm going to take care of it. Not yours, because you rent it and you can just throw it away and get another one, okay? That's exactly Fitzhugh's argument. He says, look, we own people, you just rent them, so therefore we take care of them. We treat them well, we respect them, they're our capital, besides we have human relations with them, we're pre-capitalist, we still have human relations. You just treat them as tools under wage slavery, and they're much worse off. So we're the ones who are moral, you're the ones who are immoral. And in fact, under the slave system, if you take a look, it was reasonably efficient. Conditions were sort of improving. People lived better, slaves lived better in 1850 than in 1750. Okay, everything you're saying could stand as a perfectly good, not only could be a good argument for slavery, but was offered as an argument for slavery. Similar arguments were given for Bolshevism, or take, say, fascism. I mean, why was Hitler so popular? Hitler was the most, through the 30s, Hitler was the most popular leader probably in German history. Well, the reason is he carried out a social revolution. People were living a lot better. I mean, like not everybody, not Jews, for example, but Germans were living a lot better. It was very successful. Hitler either understood or figured out, or his advisors did, that large-scale state expenditures could rescue a morbid capital economy from destruction. Pretty much what American business learned during the Second World War. And he was doing it, and it was the economy was booming, people were better off, and so on. Is that an argument for fascism? No.